The pelvic floor is made up of the levator ani muscle, which is a combination of three muscles: the puborectalis, the Pubococcygeus, and the Iliococcygeus. The pelvic floor also includes another muscle called the Coccygeus muscle. We can see in this image that these muscles really fill that inferior portion of the pelvis, where they can provide support to the pelvic organs. So let's have a look at each of these muscles in turn. First up, we can see the entire levator ani muscle highlighted in green. Remember, it consists of three muscles which more or less blend into each other: the puborectalis, the Pubococcygeus, and the Iliococcygeus. The first part of the levator ani we'll look at is the puborectalis. This muscle, highlighted in green, is named after its attachments and relations. Pubo, referring to the pubic bone, and rectalis, relating to the rectum. The puborectalis originates from the posterior surface of the bodies of the pubic bones. It then extends from its points of origin to form a U-shaped sling around the rectum at the anorectal junction. This is pretty different from a lot of skeletal muscle attachments, where insertions are usually to bones. By encircling the anorectal junction, the puborectalis maintains fecal continence. When this muscle relaxes, the angle between the rectum and the anus increases, which allows for defecation to occur. You may have noticed that the puborectalis has two holes in it. The more posteriorly situated hole allows for the passage of the anal canal and is therefore called the anal aperture. But what about the anterior hole? This hole is termed the urogenital hiatus and allows passage of the urethra in both sexes and the vagina in females. In terms of innervation, the puborectalis is supplied by the nerve to the levator ani, which arises from the anterior rami of S4, sometimes with a small contribution from S5. The second component of the levator ani is the Pubococcygeus. And nicely done, this muscle is also named after its attachment points. It originates from the bodies of the pubic bones lateral to the origin of the puborectalis. Posteriorly, it inserts at the coccyx and the anococcygeal ligament. Similar to the puborectalis, it is innervated by the nerve to the levator ani, but also receives fibres from the branches of the pudendal nerve, such as the inferior rectal or the perineal branches. The last of the three components of the levator ani is the Iliococcygeus muscle. Now this one is a bit deceiving, as its name would suggest that it originates from the ilium, but actually the Iliococcygeus originates from the ischium, specifically the ischial spine. It also originates from this structure here, the tendinous arch of the levator ani. Luckily, on the other hand, its insertion point does match its name. Posteriorly, it inserts at the coccyx and the anococcygeal ligament. Like the rest of the levator ani, the Iliococcygeus is innervated by the nerve to the levator ani. The last muscle of the pelvic floor, which is not part of the levator ani, is the muscle we can see highlighted now. This is the Coccygeus, which is sometimes called the Ischiococcygeus. This muscle originates from the ischial spine and travels posteriorly to insert on the coccyx and inferior portion of the sacrum. From this inferior view, we can see the insertion of the Coccygeus, which is highlighted onto the coccyx and the sacrum. The Coccygeus overlies the sacrospinous ligament, which we've just added to the image now. This ligament has similar attachment points, the sacrum and the ischial spine. Sometimes this muscle and its tendon can fuse together. The Coccygeus, as part of the pelvic floor, functions by pulling the coccyx anteriorly after defecation. In other species, its primary function is actually movement of the tail. It is innervated by the nerve to the levator ani, just like the muscles of the levator ani, which make up the rest of the pelvic floor. And before we move on, let me remind you of the functions of the pelvic floor. These muscles work together to provide support for the pelvic organs. Additionally, the pelvic floor helps maintain optimal intra-abdominal pressure and is involved in urinary and fecal continence in both sexes.
If you found this quick anatomy or physiology video helpful, you'll enjoy our video tutorials even more. Click on the button and you'll see what I mean. We have hundreds of videos available to our premium members, not to mention all the fun quizzes, complete articles, and atlas sections to solidify your knowledge. Click on the button in the middle to watch the full-length video and master anatomy and physiology.